Clang! All right. We're
What's
here.
up?
This is the 17th episode of ABC's of TPBs, and we are reviewing Quantum and Woody by Valiant Comics.
Yes.
We're gonna just double team this. We're actually gonna doing something unprecedented. I don't know if we revealed this last episode or not, but we're doing the volumes 1 and 2 of Quantum and Woody.
It was revealed last episode, yes.
It was? Okay. Well, it's no surprise, but maybe it's a surprise for you first-time listeners. It's always a first for someone, right?
Yeah, it might be. If this is your first time listening, surprise, this is our first time doing this particular thing.
But yes, and also if this is your first time listening, go back and start from the A's, because we're currently in the Q's of ABCs of TPPs. It'll enrich your life 1,000-fold. You will be better for it.
You will be a better person listening to our podcast.
Indeed. So we're going to get into this issue here. It's done by James Asmus, Tom Fowler, and Jordi Belair. Give you a little history on Quantum and Woody. This is one of Valiant's, the original Valiant's 90s
Valiant.
90s Valiant property. It was hilarious then,
yeah,
and I kind of find it hilarious now.
When they brought Valiant back, did they bring back everything?
They bring back everything. There were some things that they dropped or they just had not circled back around to. I think like Hardcore was one of the books. I think they picked up Rye. I'm not sure if they've done. I want to say that I've seen some Magnus Robot Fighter, but I think that was picked up by a different company.
Oh, okay.
They might have picked up Magnus.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff that's happened, a lot of shifting, a lot of moving pieces.
So since Valiant came back, have you delved into it at all? Like, if you
I have from Divinity, some of the Archer and Armstrong. I did some of the Bloodshot. I did many trades of that. I like what was done with. It's kind of the Avengers. Unity, I guess. Unity. It was. Yes.
So
Unity.
I haven't dipped my toe in Valiant too much.
Really? The original or the new stuff?
The original or the new stuff. Oh. All I've read of the new Valiant is Divinity 1, 2, and 3. Oh. And this Quantum and Woody.
Oh,
I have some books on the shelf there. I have Unity volumes 1 and 2.
Okay.
And I just need to. I think I read the first couple of issues of Harbinger. Fell off. And then all of a sudden there was a Harbinger Wars, and I was like, apparently I've missed some shit.
There's the Valiant universe is very sprawling. One of the things that it received praise for early on, back in the 90s days, is that their characters, it really promoted the feel of a universe in which all these characters inhabited. It was like Marvel. It was like, you could on a sunny day you might get Wolverine and Spider-Man kind of crossing paths sometimes, but in this book, this series, it was not uncommon for these characters to interact with characters from other books on a regular basis.
Okay.
And so it really made the universe feel lived in and so forth. So Quantum and Woody was hailed as the world's worst superhero team.
Yes, the not Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Right. Definitely not. I think these guys actually get a little bit more done than Booster Gold.
Okay.
No,
right.
Probably not.
No.
But it follows Eric and Woody, titular heroes, in which the basic story is Eric's father was an inventor and working on some scientific breakthroughs. Developed a device. He later got killed for it. A little bit of business espionage, and. The Eric is his natural son. Woody is his adoptive son. Woody has always been the fuck up. Eric has always been the straight laced kind of deal. So already you've got kind of that perfect strangers type of
odd couple
kind of scenario. So they happen upon their father's invention. They end up putting on these bracelets of power, these quantum bands. Something happens, terrible disaster. And now they're linked together through these bands. They have to touch these bands together every 24 hours?
24 hours.
Or they die.
Their atoms dissipate into nothingness.
It sounds like dying to me.
It sounds like dying to me.
And so it just really is that I can't even say good cop, bad cop. It really is an odd couple because Eric is trying to legitimately be a hero to try to right wrongs and whatever. He has his stint and he has his background in the military. Woody has just been the kind of the con man, just trying to get in and try to do the right things, but he's a little muddled on his thinking.
That's one way of putting it.
That's one way of putting it. I mean, what are your thoughts about this book? Since this was one of your first forays into.
I thought it was good. Eric, just very straight-laced dude trying to do his thing. Woody gets annoying as shit very early.
Really early.
Really,
he gets old fast.
Nobody fucks up that much, that bad, that horribly.
Right.
Like, I refuse to believe anybody is that. There's selfish and careless people in the world, but nobody this selfish, careless, and inept.
He makes it like his business to be like 100% proficient at fucking things up.
Yes. He is great at fucking things up. At the worst possible times. He fucks up a lot at the worst possible times. Which gets them into a good deal of their shenanigans. Now, we're going to tackle this a little bit differently than we normally do. We're going to talk about Volume 1 together, and then we're talking about Volume 2 together. Right. Now, Dave, why is that?
Oh, mainly because I misplaced my copy of Quantum Woody Volume 1. It's somewhere in one of these long boxes. So anyway, it's on me. But also, I had the brilliant idea to review both these books together as a Quantum and Woody kind of style. Maybe I would be the Woody in this situation.
There's no maybe about it. I noticed you said nothing about Volume 2 at all, which you were also supposed to read.
Well, I have read it, though.
Okay. You're like a terrible book report guy. That's stumbling through this podcast.
This could have happened.
I'm over here busting my ass, turning these pages.
This could have happened in this country, or it may not have. It could have been fake news. I don't know.
What could have been fake news?
Any of this.
Real news is Dave didn't read shit. Let's get that out the way now.
I didn't read these two in preparation for this episode, but no, that's I have read this, and I remember for the most part what's going down.
So this week's episode is how Dave fumbles through this, and I'm going to sit back and enjoy it.
Yes, be better. You had better.
So yeah, this first volume I wasn't a huge fan of. If we were not doing the 2 volumes back to back, this might have been a no-go for me.
Really? So the second volume made it a
second volume saved it.
Saved it, really?
Second volume saved it.
That's interesting because I thought the second volume was the weakest.
Oh, okay. Just the over annoyance of Woody. Like, one character just drags the whole thing down for me.
Right.
Just because he was so inept and ridiculous and selfish and whatnot.
Right.
The story itself, it's a fairly simple, straightforward origin story, right? Like, it's a very Marvel origin story. There is a place where they don't need to be at. A science accident goes wrong.
Science accident. Science accident.
Yeah, Hulk, all the Fantastic Four.
Whenever they cut your funding, that's the first step.
You always gotta cut the funding. Then it's like the one over ambitious, like, fine, I'll experiment on myself. And that's how you get Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin.
If they're not gonna take these drastic steps, let me inject myself with the serum.
Yeah. Fuck that. If they come and cut my funding, I'm gonna be like, well, it's time to wrap these cords up and get right the hell up out of here.
You don't own those cords. Those cords are owned by the organization as well. So you just gotta just walk straight out.
Walk out and turn in my parking pass.
They'll be like, yeah, give me your pass and your lab coat.
Sorry, Dr. C.
Here's this trophy of shame for taking with you.
Don't put us on your next resume.
Right.
Yeah, so, this is a fairly standard accident. Shit goes down the way it goes down. And then they're immediately wanted by, federal agencies.
Right. Because shit goes down and, someone has to answer for it.
And shit goes down, yeah. I mean, a building blows up. They kind of want to figure out who caused this bit of business.
Right. So, and this is a universe, again, which has been established that there are other, enhanced abilities, humanoids with abilities. So it's like, hey, yeah, let's jump on this and see.
Yeah. Woody wants to brand this as them being superheroes, which Quantum doesn't exactly say no to. At no point does he say no, it's a dumb idea.
Right.
Every time Woody says, we're going to brand this, or we need to get our brand up, he just kind of ignores it.
He always ignores. That's great. Like, it made me feel like and without the other context clues, it made me feel like I was watching like what was it, Sixth Sense? It was like he talks to dead people, and only Woody is the dead person.
That is very apt for an analogy. So yeah, then we have the big shadowy organization, right? The ERA, the Einstein Research Association.
I love those guys. I love them.
Was it Einstein? No, it wasn't Einstein.
It's like a rogues gallery from The Tick.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. You got the big Russian dude, the woman who was having all the surgery on, and a shit ton of clones and like weird science experiments. Like they were the science villains.
Don't forget the goat.
And how could we forget the goat? Science villains is pretty much what these guys were. And I'm all about a superhero or supervillain team of scientists. I like that idea. That idea doesn't get explored at all here because they get clapped up by the end of this first volume.
Right. But the implications of it are far-reaching.
Yeah, I wish that I'm assuming. Oh, and then we also had Johnny 1 and Johnny 2 there as well. I know they survived this whole bit of business. We see them a little bit in Volume 2. We'll talk about that when we get there. Now you stopped on this page.
I talk about this page because this is we talk about our favorite frames from time to time. This is the one in which let's see here. This is on the this is 48 of 160, in which Eric and Woody are both naked. They have just gotten the bands grafted onto them. The authorities are telling wanting to take them down, and it shows the writing, the artwork, and the humor. Just all it's called wrapped up in this section. So so Woody has just blown up a car, and Eric sees them as they're ducking behind cover and says, "You blew up that cop car," and he's like, "And of course that's my fault." Yes, it is. If you had any, and that's in this panel, Eric has grabbed Woody, and they're like they're naked and they're very close together, and then the next panel they realize that they're right there, almost symmetrical docking, almost docking. Exactly. Well, docking was actually called. Okay. Have you not heard of docking?
No, I have not heard of docking.
Well, let me go ahead and educate you and the listeners.
Please, educate
docking
us.
is when two men get together, and one actually is uncircumcised.
Okay.
One takes his penis and touches the other man's penis with it. They take the hood, stretch it over the head of the other man, and just do kind of a back and forth kind of yanking until the moment of ejaculation, and they burst apart. That is a real thing.
That's part of this whole story.
That is a real thing called docking.
Well, you might not have read this week's material, Dave, which sure brought something to it.
I tried. That's what I do. But no, so they're kind of there, and that's in that panel. They're both looking down. Just a beat while all this mayhem is going on the side from them, and then they pull apart and they're like, "Ugh! It's official. I wish the explosion killed me." It's
little bits of humor like that.
Yeah. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like that kind of stuff. Yeah, the artwork. Speaking about the artwork, some good stuff in here with Jordi Belair. I do believe was the artist. I do like. It's very clean, very neat artwork. Very simple.
It is. However, you see in this issue, the artwork is a little bit different from what came in that first issue. That I guess the trailer. The pilot episode there. It's a little bit different. It's cleaner than what was in the first issue, which is was interesting to me. Like I said, even this, the kind of the retro
the
stuff there, flashback stuff, is done in that kind of almost that retro. Almost you can almost see where not quite, but you can almost see where they tried to imitate kind of the newspaper.
The old school, with the ink dots and whatnot in here. Kind of like Spider-Verse. It's that same thing. Yeah.
Really? I haven't seen that yet.
Of course you. Hell yeah, it's good.
All right. I mean, you might have just been biased. I don't know if you're repping Miles Morales pretty hard before you went in there.
I'm a fan of Miles, but that movie is easily it's the best animated movie of the year.
Okay. Best superhero movie of the year. That's the one I've been waiting for all year. Because Deadpool didn't do it for me.
Deadpool didn't do it. No.
And Infinity War didn't do it for me.
Infinity War should have done it for you.
It should have. But I was like, you know what? I want to see the second one. I'm gonna reserve judgment.
Why would you reserve judgment on how another movie does?
Well, I mean, because it's half of a movie, really. It's kind of like, well, I can't even say it's kind of like Star Wars, in which you have Empire Strikes Back leading into Jedi, because Empire is clearly the superior film from those first three.
Yep.
But this was still it's Infinity War Part 1 and 2. I mean, It's already.
Yeah. But I don't understand why your viewing of part 2 should affect your thoughts on part 1.
Because it's kind of like...
It's still its own movie in itself. It's just a movie where the bad guy happens to win.
If someone tells you a story, and they're telling you a joke, and it's a great lead up to it, but the punchline sucks, and it's like, man, this entire joke just didn't work. You could be like, hey, I got some fun stuff from this story being told, and then they told me the other half of the story, like, oh, this other half not that great, or because of this half of the story, this first part is magnified. Do you not?
No, I judge each film on its own individual merit.
Oh, well, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree then again.
I guess we'll just have to agree that I'm right. So getting back to this business here in Quantum of Woody, I do like. Do you plan on seeing Spider-Verse, sir?
Yeah, I do. I will. We'll go see it.
Okay then.
Yeah.
You just slacking.
I had other stuff going on. Yeah, I've been slacking real hard.
Real hard.
Like you wouldn't believe.
I like these black bars that we get.
Black bars.
These random little interludes. Oh, that's it. These random little interludes that we get. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even call it an interlude. Just these joints right here.
Oh, Woody's idea.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or they pop up maybe like once an issue or something like that, and they usually are some kind of clever pun as to what is happening at that time. Mm-hmm. I thought that was
tongue-in-cheek fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, it's a little tongue-in-cheek bit of business there. Yeah, yeah. I very much. The story was okay, but Woody is what almost killed it for me.
Yeah, Woody is. His level of ineptitude is astounding, to say the least. Yeah, it was. It got to the point where I felt genuinely, legitimately bad for Eric. Yeah. Because I'm like, he's got to put up with all this bullshit. And he's really, I mean, they say a team is only as strong as its weakest link. Well,
yeah, this team is weak as shit. Fuck. I like the fact that it starts off, Volume 1 starts off towards the end of things. Mm-hmm. And then the whole, so most of this first volume is built up to how we start the whole volume off. I thought that was a clever little narration device there. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very classic, very Homer.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
You got anything else for Volume 1 there, sir?
Volume 1 is just
I mean, we got the introduction of the goat.
Yeah, the introduction of the goat, the ERA. I guess it was that was there. And so you haven't read the Eternal Warrior. They got all the previews in here too.
Yeah, that's one thing I liked about that is that we get previews of other comics.
Did any of those kind of wet your whistle? You were like, hey.
I skipped right over them. Okay. I just appreciated the fact that they were there.
I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. They're here, but
it's 3 pages of a comic.
Yeah. So, like I say, from this one, I guess from the Rogues Gallery, one of my favorites was the cyborg guy here, and that was it was very tragic.
Yeah, my man did his cyborg shit in the 80s though, so
right.
He used to work with VHS technology.
What was his name? Betamax or something?
Yeah,
like
Betamax.
Yeah. It's just great, and it's goofy, and it's like I say for the time it was fun. I think on subsequent rereads it felt a little dry and a little dated. Yeah. But like I said, it's first time read through. It's very, very entertaining. What else besides Woody dooming the team was something that made you want to stop reading?
Woody is a huge part of why I was like, I mean, the story was moving along at a decent enough pace. Yeah. We have the shadowy villain giving orders from the dark or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that just the utter ineptitude of Woody is what almost just completely killed this for me.
Yeah. What redeemed it in Volume 2?
The story. Okay. I think Woody is still completely. I guess we'll get to that when we talk about Volume 2.
Well, I guess are we ready to talk about Volume 2?
Oh, we gotta take ourselves a break first.
Okay, I'm just saying. We could just keep going straight through.
Never, sir. We must keep up appearances.
I want to make one thing clear. I'm only working with you to avenge my sister.
Yeah, because you and Artemis were always so close. Rationalize it however you want, little girl. Just handle Aqualad and leave Black Manta to me. I need to put him down to preserve my rep.
And that's all you care about.
Don't kid yourself, Jade. We're not that different.
Bing bang boom. Fin fang foom.
Wrong universe altogether.
It's all good though.
We're back with the second half of our All Quantum and Woody episode here on
All
ABC.
Quantum and Woody all the time.
All Quantum, all Woody. So we start this volume with a not obvious dig at the Batman. At the Batman. Almost a killed in crime alley scenario, and then you have the I'm the goddamn, expecting there to be Batman because that's the famous Batman line.
Right.
But removed to avoid that Warner Brothers lawsuit.
I'm surprised they could even put the word Warner Brothers in there without getting sued.
No, Warner Brothers isn't going to sue you just because you put your company name into something.
I'm just saying. It's
There's
it
grounds
was close.
for lawsuits, and I don't think that's even close to grounds for a
I think they
lawsuit.
would still win though.
No way they would win.
No way that Warner Brothers would win
because they're not-
a lawsuit handed to them by Valiant. You know how many times Valiant has gone under, my goodness. This is at least the fourth iteration.
I'm saying there's nothing to sue them for, which is why they would not win this suit. Anyway, poor Valiant.
They're the engine that could, man.
They're the engine that almost does.
Almost does. I mean, they're working on their movie, their cinematic universe.
I heard that 2 years ago. Still haven't seen shit about it.
I've seen trailers, and those trailers look very sci-fi.
Oh, was it for Ninja?
Sci-fi,
Was it for Ninja?
Ninjak, and there was something else. There was some other like team
Bloodshot?
thing.
No.
Bloodshot, yeah, Bloodshot.
Yeah.
But they switched up the character, like the actors for them. as
Yeah,
well, so it's
yeah.
weird.
I think Jason David Frank was supposed to be Ninja.
No, well, originally he was supposed to be no. Originally they had him as Bloodshot.
Bloodshot.
And then they switched him to somebody else. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, Valiant.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. Somehow Valiant is still doing better than Warner Brothers in DC. Although from what I hear, Aquaman is the dopeness.
Really?
Yes,
I
I
have
haven't.
about the movie, or are they talking
Yeah,
about
the
okay.
movie. I have
I heard it
not
was
heard
fun.
a bad thing about
I
Aquaman.
heard it was fun.
I'll find out tomorrow.
I'm surprised to actually hear that.
Yeah, I will find out tomorrow, man. They say it's a nice little adventure romp. So, cannot wait.
All right.
Cannot wait. This time tomorrow, I'll be watching.
Oh, yeah, you let me know.
Here.
Got a live tweet from the theater.
That's how Daryl got kicked out. He
Right.
was never invited to another screening again.
Right.
Volume 2 of Quantum and Woody. So at this point, Eric is trying to go back to his regular everyday life. Woody has taken one of the clones from this shady organization and is pretty much
Wifing it up.
Wifing it up. Yeah, wifing it up. Teaching her the ropes, as it were.
You can hear the implied heavy air quotes.
Yes, heavy air quotes in that. And they got a new mission. They got a new mission for this volume. Eric, aka Quantum, who's working for a security company, and cover gets blown as to who he is. Boss sends him on a suicide mission to take out some radicals in the middle of the country. And that's pretty much the setup for this series. And he seems excited about this. He's generally excited to get back to work, getting back to presumably doing what he does. This is a very...
He's a military guy, so
Yeah, Eric heavy...
That's where he was. That's where he was home.
That's where he's
That's where
comfortable
things
at.
made sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's where things made sense. We see his flashbacks to his time in the military as well. And we find out all sorts of information about Eric in this volume. We find he's a Republican. He's a black Republican, which is something you don't hear a lot of.
Right.
But they exist. They exist from time to time, and all sorts of other things. Of course, somehow Woody stumbles onto the plan and finds out that this really is a suicide mission. It is designed to make sure he does not leave it alive. His boss has set this whole thing up just to stir up chaos so their security company can get more contracts, aka more money. And that's pretty much the gist of this volume going into it, man.
It's a trap. Is the theme.
Pretty much, yeah. They Akbar trapped him.
The thing that
Woody also sells Eric's car.
he does.
Gives it away.
He does a lot. He continues doing stupid things.
He continues to fuck things up.
Would you say that it's more his idiocy is more tolerable this volume?
No, because he gave Quantum's car away. That's not tolerable. He gave somebody else's car away.
Well, maybe he had a good reason for it.
No, he didn't have a good reason. No, it is about as good as your reason for not reading these issues.
I had a great reason for that, but I will not go into those details. The things that that were detractors for me in this volume, as the art style is vastly different from what was going on in that first issue, that first volume. So there's a little bit of a break of that coherency, that consistency for me.
Yeah, I think I prefer the art style in volume 1.
Yeah, and then even though we were getting the backstory, even though we were seeing more of their shenanigans, it just didn't seem like the writing was for the humor. Because I was expecting it to be, hey, I'm not going to take these guys seriously. I just want to see some silly adventures, and it's a little too serious.
You think so?
And not enough laughs for me.
Oh man, I got way more laughs just in how the way they go over the top making fun of these redneck white guys, and they just stuffed every stereotype they possibly could in there. That's where I got my amusement, my entertainment from.
Oh really?
Because they went so over the top with these.
You started writing things down. Saving that one for later.
And the fact that they are huge fans of Quantum, and they don't know that he's black.
Right.
So they got to struggle with that whole bit of business.
Yeah,
that was comedy gold.
Because that was a commune that was out there, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder, did I get the volume? What volume did I get to? Because I got where I stopped reading was when Quantum had just stopped this bomb threat from a hijacked truck.
Okay, that's not this volume.
Okay, so that was in volume 3, I guess. That's why I stopped volume 3. Well, happy reading to you. You can see. I did find that humorous. I'm recalling this now because I haven't read this recently. But I'm recalling now.
Imagine that.
Well, I'm recalling that because of the commune there. So that was. I do remember that being a little more hilarious than the part where I stopped reading. And that was hilarious. Let's see. Where did volume 2 end?
Volume 2 ends with them back at home for the most part. Oh, they got their new headquarters.
HQ.
Yeah.
Man, it's like I'm reading this all over again the first time.
What do you know, Dave? Struggling to catch up to see what's going on.
I'm just going thumbing through. I'm trying to remember the stuff here.
Thumbing through so fast, there's no way he's absorbing any of this actual information.
I remember the malicious stuff. I remember that. Yeah, I'm just trying to remember where it went after this. That wasn't the end of the arc, was it?
Yeah, they deal with the militia dudes.
Yeah,
and you got to keep scrolling. That's another comic. Yeah. And they deal with these cats real quick, and then it's they're going where Quantum thinks is back home.
Right.
Put us to their new headquarters.
I'm trying to go back here.
And that's where this is where Woody finds out that he's is a black Republican, and he changes his whole view of Quantum.
Like there's anything that Quantum that Eric could do that would shame.
Yeah.
Woody.
I think that's it. You're at the end.
Is that the end of that one?
I think it might be.
Yeah, can't believe it. Can't believe it's not bother.
Yep, that's it. If you're at the gallery.
Okay, so I did enjoy volume 2. It was volume 3. It was volume 3 that I was not too keen on.
All that mumbling to ourselves to come to this conclusion.
Sometimes that's just like mumble rap. It has its place as well. Not a good
place.
place.
No, it doesn't.
It's not a good place.
No,
but it has
not
its
a good place.
The place it has is, man, I really messed up switching channels. I need to go further so I won't have to listen to this.
That's what people are saying about this podcast right now.
These guys, what's going on? Yes, check out podcasts A through P. That's some of our best work.
That's it's some of our best work.
Some of our best work. But no, give Quantum and Woody a read. It actually is. It's a fun story. It's God. It can be so frustrating at times just because Woody is such a goddamn idiot. But it's good. It is. They are the worst superhero team.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like it is a ripoff of Blue Beetle and Booster Gold at the same time, because they're also a more lighthearted approach to adventuring and whatnot. And I mean, Woody even kind of looks like Booster Gold as well.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, they had some parallels from it back in the '90s. But Booster Gold and Blue Beetle have been around a lot longer.
So which of you prefer, the old Valiant or these new Valiants?
I'm gonna say the old Valiant because the old Valiant was brand new for its time. They had a lot more freedom to do the things that they wanted to do, and they took a lot of risks. There were a lot of original stories coming out back then, and I think the only thing that I didn't like about it was that they flew too close to the sun, and they made some bad business choices, which, that was the first iteration gone. But no, they really had. I loved the original because I don't know, they didn't do things that you would expect them to. Mm-hmm. And with this new iteration, they've been able to, they have the character IPs, and there are certain beats they want to hit, and they tried to update things for the, I guess, the modern age, and also to answer those the questions of I guess kind of keep up with the Joneses with like everything that's going on with the big three publishers as well, to try to stay relevant. But they have good stories. I think they just need to stick with their approach of giving their writers and their artists carte blanche and say, hey, make stuff, talk to each other so everyone knows what the fuck is going on. But other than that, do it.
Just go make stuff.
I do enjoy the energy of this new Valiant, but I love the original Valiant because the worlds were so intertwined, and there was just such good writing. Exo Man of War is worth reading. Bloodshot, the original Bloodshot, is worth reading. I think, like, even comparing the Bloodshot characters, like the original Bloodshot, he was not. This new Bloodshot is more like an unstoppable killing machine. Mm-hmm. The original had a lot of, I guess, ability dampeners, limiters. He wasn't so overpowered.
Okay.
Like, he'd get shot. Like the original Bloodshot would get shot, and his nanites would do what they could to close the wound and that kind of stuff. But he would need to go like grab a stake, slap it on his chest, and it would use that material to start repairing himself. That kind of stuff. So it was things like that. It was well thought out, and it was endearing. I recommend it.
Okay.
I recommend the original. I mean, check out the new stuff too. I mean, the original stuff it's there, but check out the new stuff too. See how they change stuff.
All right then.
Yeah.
You got anything else, sir?
Hey, I think the only thing I need to get is up on this next issue and actually read it before the podcast.
Well, that would be swell.
It would be a Christmas miracle.
So yeah, the R's is what we have coming up next.
It's rough.
And what do you have for your R? You haven't picked out.
I had an R, but I decided I didn't want to do that R anymore.
We've decided in 2018, the end of 2018, Dave was so strong. He carried the show on his back throughout 2018. And then he just stumbled at the finish.
I just kind of
fumbled at the finish. You fumbled on the
just
one.
Just like the Panthers.
They fumbled all season.
They fumbled at the press conference.
So we need to give you some time to figure out what your R is going to be.
Yeah, I need to figure out what my R is going to be. Listeners, I would say, hey, give me an idea of what R I should use. But Alicia's going to be on. She'll be like, I've got 12 things to recommend. But see here, you're going R, you're going to Valiant.
We're staying in the Valiant world. I'm going to Rye, Volume 1. Named one of the year's best series, apparently. Man.
I'll figure something out. I'll get it to you. I'll figure it out. I'll get it to you.
All right then.
And it'll be a surprise for you listeners.
We'll be back starting 2019 with a surprise.
It'll be a surprise if Dave reads the issue before the recording, right?
Yes, it would be a surprise.
Indeed. You know what they say about New Year's resolutions? They never work.
So let's resolve nothing because let's just keep it keep it status quo.
Status quo. Yeah, we'll just Dave will just keep fucking up on into 2019.
Right on in there.
Right on smooth.
Fumbling the ball right on in there. Right on into 2019.
Yeah.
All right then. Well,
E for effort.
E for effort, or E for try again. So this is our last show of the year, sir. How was your? So we started the show this year. How do you think the show's gone these first 16, 17?
Well, you know, when I read the issues, it goes pretty smoothly. But it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun. It's fun reading stuff here, and we've got at least one listener.
We've got at least one listener,
which is great.
Yeah, we get listens on the show. I'm not sure who's listening to these shows,
Well,
but
I
we
mean,
get
you can pull those metrics on SoundCloud and see where your listenership is coming from. But yeah, we got
a couple of our shows, which makes no sense to me.
It makes plenty of sense.
Sure it does.
Those bots are just
they're
trying to get your votes. They're trying to steal your votes. The Cold War never ended. No. But no, it's been good. What do you think?
I've been enjoying it so far.
You really? You don't want to shut it down?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not
all
yet.
right.
We're going to keep on doing this. We're going to go. And so here's what I propose. We know what we're going to do for season 2 of the ABC. This is going to be the Elisa Gomez show.
Right.
We should go Z to A.
Z to A.
Yeah, Z to A.
Z to A.
So we'll finish a Z, and the next episode should be
Alicia Z,
and then we work backwards to the A.
Yeah.
Do a little snake business here.
A little snaky. Fair enough. I can do that.
All right,
I'm down with that. We'll get to the Z one of these days.
One of these days, we'll get to the Z's, and
I'm willing to bet it'll be in 2019.
I think
I can firmly.
You firmly. Okay. Well, thank you for confirming that bit of business there. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Rumors squashed.
There wasn't a rumor in the first place, but if there was, it is now squashed.
Fan conspiracies abound.
All right. Well, you guys take it easy. Hopefully, you have a good, safe New Year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back in 2019 with our episode of the ABCs and TPBs.
Mm-hmm. Believe it. True believers. Something about believing. Don't stop.
Go,
believing.
God, go.